Guys, welcome to 3DB. As you guys can see, I'm going to be going over this mammoth, this whopper, this beast, what you call the Green Goblin helmet. So I'm pretty much going to be breaking down for you guys my process, how I printed it, how I put it together, how I spray painted it, the whole nine. So bang, let's get into it. Alright, so first things first, as you guys can see, this thing is huge. Even for the CR10S, like that's not coming out in one print at all. And even if it did, my God, the support that you would see on that. It's about 2 rolls of filament right there. I was not doing that. So on the side, you'll see all the different parts, cuts that I made to assemble. So I'll break that down for you guys. So a lot of you guys might be new to the channel. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Keep following on with the stories. I do different builds, different props, different makes. Actually doing giveaways as well for those who are new. 50 subscribers. I do have an Iron Man helmet that I am giving away. But back to the mission at hand. Alright, so first things first. How did I take this prop here and get all those little pieces? So there's a cool little tool called Slicer. So it's slic3r.org. And from there, pretty much break down everything that I need, get exactly what I want to fit my build platform and to fit my comfortability as far as how well I feel, how comfortable I feel something's actually gonna succeed. Sorry in advance if you hear my printer in the back, but I'm working on something as we go. But this is pretty cool. It's really helpful. So it's movement and everything else is a little bit different from Cura. I don't use this as my main slicer. I just use this to cut. So what I'll do is first select the model. No, they don't color it green because they know it's Green Goblin. That's just how you know it's a selected model. I just thought that was funny as I was doing it. But from there, I can either select delete all. I can arrange. I can move counterclockwise, clockwise, whatever. Scale the object, split it. But what we're going to do is go to this last box here where it says cut. Boom. So once you do that, of course, there are 3 different axes and the 3D printing space that you can move on. So it's the same as far as cutting. So for my cuts, I can either cut on. Oops, sorry, can either cut on the Z-axis, which is what you see now. The Y-axis. Give it a second. Boom. Or the X-axis. You get the point from there. And it actually shows you exactly what your cuts are going to look like. So you can select lower part, as I have selected there. You can deselect it and hit upper part if I just want to see that. Or I can keep on both. And then from there, pretty much what you want to do is simply just hit perform cut. And that's going to slice the model for you from there. Something that took me a while to learn how to do is how to delete something, then get it back. I'm new to Mac, coming from Windows. So just to help you guys out, shorten your process, once you do get what you want, go ahead and hit delete. Oops, I didn't mean to hit delete all, but this still helps. Command Z is what's going to bring those things back. Some of you guys might be like, wow, you didn't know that? No, I didn't. No, not at all. But yeah, so those are the first 2 cuts I did. From there, another problem that would have been great. That would have saved me a lot of time. But if you look at the upper part of this bottom jaw, check out the teeth. So when I print that on the build surface, if I kept both parts together, these teeth at the top would pretty much be printed upside down. It's not something that I want. It's not really going to come out perfectly, even if I do put supports there. The teeth aren't going to be as sharp. Breaking off supports, something's going to happen somewhere. So pretty much what I did was, again, just perform that cut. Boom, boom. And there you have it. So those are pretty much the 3 basic parts that I started out with. So let's go back over to Cura. Let's get rid of that big thing. And this is literally how I printed this head. Now, a lot of you guys are probably new to Cura or probably use Cura You know, red means support. So wherever you see the red, that means that the printer needs some kind of support there. Sometimes, depending on how dialed in you are, how good you are with your printer, you don't really need supports there. So I did not, because that's a lot of support to put there. That'd probably be about, again, like I said, a roll and a half of filament if I was to do all of that. So I didn't print with any supports. What I use is what's called the raft. So pretty much a raft is just, it would take a long time for it to load up on my computer, so I'm not really going to show that. But you can select the raft option in your settings by going to build adhesion. Some of you guys might have skirt, brim. Pretty much what the raft does, it gives an extra adhesive layer to the bottom of your print, just something sturdy to stick onto. I'm using a glass bed with the CR10, so I like that. And then from there, I'm still kind of like trying to dial in the perfect temperatures for a glass bed. So once that raft comes out, I pretty much just tape the raft to the bed, so that way there's no shake, there's no movement. And from there, it gives me a sturdy print. The raft might take a couple minutes more depending on the size of your print, but it's definitely worth it. So again, I didn't put any supports here. Nothing that you see is red. I had to put a support. I just built it straight up like that. The only thing, I did this on a lighter infill. I think I did it between 1 to 5% infill, just because I don't like waiting like 2-3 days for a print. Top here at the ears came out a little jagged. I'm not sure if it was because of this little curve here or what could have caused it, but there was like a lot of layer shifts. If I have any pictures, I'll show you guys, but it came out pretty janky there. Everything else came out perfect for that part. This jaw is pretty straightforward. I just dropped it in there, rotated it a little bit, made sure it laid flat. Same thing, put the raft on, boom, it went to print. With this, I did have to use support inside. If you look at the teeth right here, there's nothing that goes under there. So what happens is my printer would literally right here would have started those teeth there, and as you know, there's nothing there, so it would have failed. So all in the inside, I put supports, or I put support on everywhere. But even then, of course, it was putting some supports inside the jaw. I tried to save as much filament as I can by not doing that. So what I did was put a support blocker. You guys don't know what the support blocker is. It looks like this in your Cura. It's this little liney box right here. And it comes in as a cube. So I just selected that. You can move it the same way. Boom. And what that does there is anything within inside that box will not get supports. So I just did that pretty much, tilted it back a little, and then slid it in there. So that whole jaw wasn't getting supports. That part was hollow. Only place I really wanted the supports were under this teeth, and that's how that came out. So that was a pretty quick print. That took about a couple minutes or a couple hours. And then finally, like I said, the teeth, the whole point of me slicing this was so I don't have to print in this way. So I just took this, flipped her upside down. Work with me here, work with me. Bang. Just like that. And those parts all came out perfect. There's not much I had to do. Not much sanding that I needed to really do. Only real sanding I had to do was around where I welded the parts together. But again, even with this, I didn't really have to put supports by the eyes or anything like that. Just to get the same problem again with the mouth. So I just had to put supports there by the mouth. Other than that, everything came out pretty easy. The back scoop is pretty simple. It's not much to that. You could just take that there, put it on itself, make it stand, and then just go from there. So that part is pretty straightforward, pretty easy. But this thing comes out to about 15-16 inches in total, the full helmet. So this thing is quite big. So I mean, if you have like an Ender 3, anything like that, those are the printers that are Ender 3 Pros, what I started on. You could definitely do this. Just the same way that I use the slicer, you would use your slicer. If you wanted 100%, of course, I forget how much the build space was, on the Ender 3, like millimeter specs. But yeah, you could definitely do it, but it's just going to take you a lot more time. So yeah, it's pretty much how I sliced everything, how I printed everything. I'll show you guys what I mean by PLA welding. Just stay tuned. Okay guys, so I didn't get the full recording of the full printing. I did start this over the holidays, so Happy New Year's, Feliz Navidad to everybody. But I got the main part. The helmet, as you can see, like my little tape, like I said, attached to my raft. And then here you can see the ears, like where the ears came out like a little janky at the top. The mouse, the jaws are pretty simple, and they just build straight up. So I didn't really need to show that as much, but you can see everything that I had to do. I'm about to get into the welding. Please bear with me, guys. I do need some kind of stand for my camera. I didn't have that at the time, but this is pretty much how I weld. So if you guys have any soldering irons, you don't need anything too fancy. I think I got this one for like 50, 60 bucks, maybe 40 bucks at Micro Center. But pretty much what you want to do is get the halves pretty much lined up, and then from there just use the heat of the soldering iron to pretty much melt the two sides together. And I show you here what it looks like on the inside. So you just want to pretty much brace it. You'll see some dents, some holes, but again, I do have infill, so that's not shown on the other side. But you do want to do this before painting, just in case something does happen. And you can see it's pretty durable. I don't need glue anymore. I just do this for most parts. From there, kind of reminded me of Megatron when I seen it in the face, so I might be giving you guys a little hint. But from there, I use wood filler to cover everything up, primer, sand, and this is the most recent picture that I have of the helmet. So the eyes, the mouth, everything else is still to come, guys. And here we are. I still have some finishing to do, some acrylic finish. I still got to do the eyes and then the mesh behind the mouth. Don't mind me, guys. I was having a little bit of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much the build. Comment below if this helped you. Let me know some other builds that you might want to see. And again, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe, because at 50 subscribers, guys, I am doing a giveaway. So please, the support is very appreciated, guys. Again, Happy New Year, Thanksgiving. This is 3DB.